Fishing is full of surprises, but some moments are so unbelievable that without a camera, no one would believe they happened. Whether it's an incredible catch or a bizarre accident, these rare encounters left even the most experienced fishermen in shock. So let's begin.
Oh my god. Oh, is it one of those?
Standing in the flowing river, a fisherman held onto a huge fish with both hands. The water splashed all around as the fish moved with great force. Its golden body, covered in dark spots, shined in the sunlight. The fisherman struggled to keep his grip. The fish was strong, pushing against the current, making the moment even more intense. For a while, it seemed like a battle between man and nature. But instead of keeping it, the fisherman decided to let it go. With one final splash, the giant fish slipped back into the water and disappeared. It was a catch so incredible that no one would believe it if it wasn't filmed. Swordfish surprise. Two men set out for a normal fishing trip, but their day took a wild turn. As they reeled in their line, the water erupted. A massive swordfish was on the other end. The fish wasn't going down easily, thrashing with incredible strength to break free. The men held on tight, struggling to pull it from the dark sea. But with each powerful move, the swordfish made their task harder. It fought with such force that the men could barely keep control. Then, with one final surge, it freed itself and vanished into the depths. Exhausted and outmatched, the men could only stare at the water, realizing they had just battled a fish stronger than they ever imagined. Whale jump. The fishermen were having a normal day on the water when something massive broke the surface. Out of nowhere, a huge whale leaped into the air, coming down with a splash that sent waves crashing against their boat. The impact made the vessel shake, leaving the men frozen for a moment. If it had been just a little closer, things could have taken a different turn, but the boat stayed steady and the fishermen remained safe, watching as the whale disappeared beneath the waves. They looked at each other, realizing how rare and unbelievable this moment was. A fishing trip meant for catching fish had turned into an encounter they would never forget. Fish party. A man was boating, expecting to catch a few fish, but what happened next was completely unexpected. As he moved through the river, fish suddenly started leaping out of the water, one after another. In seconds, his boat was filled with them, flipping and splashing all around. It was as if they were jumping in by themselves. This strange sight was due to a process called electrofishing, where an electric current in the water caused the fish to react by jumping. The man barely had to cast his line. His boat was already loaded with fish. It was a fishing experience like no other. Giant grouper. This fisherman had no idea what he was about to pull up from the water. As he reeled in his catch, a giant grouper surfaced, so massive that it barely looked like a normal fish. Its wide mouth and thick body made it seem like a true river monster. The man and his team tried to lift it, but its weight was just too much to handle. No matter how hard they pulled, the fish wouldn't budge. Realizing it was too big to bring on board, they decided to let it go. With a slow, powerful movement, the grouper disappeared back into the depths. The river kept its giant hidden once again, leaving only the footage as proof of what had just happened. Shark surprise. The fishing trip was going smoothly until one of the men felt an intense pull on his rod. He tightened his grip, thinking it was a massive fish, but as he reeled it closer, something unexpected appeared. A huge shark surfaced, holding onto their catch. The fishermen froze for a moment, realizing they were no longer in control of the situation. The shark wasn't letting go, and its presence alone was enough to change their plans. Without hesitation, they decided to leave the line, knowing there was no winning against such a powerful creature. Watching it vanish into the deep, they were left with nothing but a wild story to share. Struggling fisherman. This fisherman spotted a massive fish and decided to grab it with his bare hands. But as soon as he reached in, the fish thrashed wildly, slipping right through his grip. The sudden movement threw him off balance, and before he could react, splash! He tumbled straight into the water. Instead of giving up, he quickly reached out underwater and grabbed hold of the fish again. This time, he wasn't letting go. With a firm grip, he surfaced, holding the giant catch in his hands. His teammates cheered as he climbed back up, soaked but victorious. Falling into the water wasn't part of the plan, but in the end, it made this catch even more unbelievable. Strange fish caught. A regular fishing trip turned surprising when these friends reeled in something completely unexpected. As they pulled up their catch, they couldn't believe their eyes. A fish with a bright green color shimmered under the sunlight. It looked almost unreal, its scales reflecting shades they had never seen before. Holding it up, they examined every detail, trying to figure out what kind of fish it was. The unusual catch left them both amazed and speechless. If they hadn't captured the moment on camera, no one would have believed their story. A simple day by the water had turned into a discovery they would talk about for years. River monster. The swamp looked peaceful, perfect for a day of fishing. But when the man felt a forceful pull on his rod, he knew this was no ordinary catch. As he struggled to reel it in, a dark, long creature surfaced, twisting violently beneath his boat. Its massive body moved with power, sending ripples across the water. His grip tightened, but the creature fought harder, thrashing to break free. The sheer size and strength of it made him hesitate. What had he just hooked? Before he could react, the line snapped, and the river monster vanished into the murky depths. Staring at the water, he was left with one question. Had he just lost the catch of a lifetime, or was it something no one should ever pull from the swamp? Fishy rain. In eastern China's Shandong province, a simple task turned into a chaotic moment on May 24th. A man was transferring a bag full of small fish into a pond when things went unexpectedly wrong. Just as he lifted it, the bag slipped, sending hundreds of fish tumbling out and covering him completely. He tried to grab them, but the slippery creatures wriggled everywhere, making it impossible to control the situation. The people helping him hadn't secured the bag properly, turning the whole scene into a fish-filled mess. Laughter erupted as he stood there, drenched in his unexpected catch. What was supposed to be a routine job ended up looking more like a fishy downpour that no one would soon forget. Rare library fish.
Oh my god. Oh, is it one of those?
Once it gets out of the water.
A group of kayakers off the coast of San Diego spotted something unusual floating in the water. At first, they thought it was debris, but as they got closer, they saw a long, shimmering body beneath the waves. What they had found was a massive orefish, a rarely seen deep-sea creature known for its serpent-like appearance. Measuring nearly 12 feet, it moved gently with the current, its silver body reflecting sunlight. Marine experts later confirmed that sightings of this fish were incredibly rare, making this discovery even more remarkable. The kayakers could hardly believe their luck, coming face to face with a mysterious creature that usually remains hidden in the deep. It was a moment they would never forget, and one that left scientists eager to learn more. Dream of fishermen. For most fishermen, catching even one fish takes patience, but this man found himself in a dream come true. Standing knee-deep in rushing water, he barely had to move. Fish were practically throwing themselves into his net. The slippery creatures slid down the waterfall in waves, making his job easier than ever. With just a swift scoop, his net filled up instantly, and he kept collecting without a single struggle. No bait, no waiting, just an endless stream of fish rushing right into his hands. It was as if nature itself had decided to make fishing effortless for him. While others spend hours trying to reel in a single catch, this man simply stood there letting the fish come to him. Truly, a fisherman's dream. Massive comeback. Fishing trips always come with surprises, but this one was beyond belief. The man had cast his line, expecting a usual catch, but what he reeled in was something straight out of a legend. A massive sturgeon! It was bigger than anything he had ever encountered, almost too unreal to believe. The weight on the line was overwhelming, making it impossible to bring it fully above water. After snapping a few pictures, they made the decision to let it go. Pulling it onto the surface wasn't even an option. Moments like these prove that sometimes the biggest catches aren't meant to be taken, just witnessed. Siren encounter. A routine fishing trip took a strange turn when a group of fishermen pulled up their net, expecting a heavy haul. But as they looked closer, their excitement turned into shock. A dark, webbed hand was pushing against the net, as if trying to escape. The men froze, unsure of what they had caught. Not wanting to take any risks, they quickly let the net sink back into the water, watching as the mysterious figure disappeared beneath the surface. The footage left people guessing. Was it an unknown sea creature, or had they stumbled upon something straight out of legend? No one could say for sure, but one thing was certain. This was a moment they would never forget. Barbie rod fishing.
Oh, the rod just snapped.
A man was casually fishing with a small pink rod, more for fun than anything serious. But as he cast his line, he suddenly felt an intense pull. His playful mood shifted as the tiny rod bent under an unexpected force. Struggling to hold on, he realized he had hooked something massive. After a tough battle, a giant sturgeon surfaced, its enormous body gliding just beneath the water. The contrast was unbelievable. A giant fish caught on such a small, toy-like rod. With careful effort, he managed to bring it closer before finally letting it go. As it disappeared into the depths, he couldn't help but laugh. Who would believe that a Barbie rod had nearly landed a river giant?
This is a fish of a lifetime. I love you and goodbye.
Amazon beast.
Prehistoric, all the way. Wow. Is that a beautiful fish or what?
The Amazon River never fails to amaze, and this fishing moment proves it once again. A man cast his line, expecting an ordinary catch, but what he pulled up was anything but normal. A massive fish emerged from the water, its sheer size and unusual features making it look almost unreal. The fisherman could hardly believe what he was seeing, struggling to lift the enormous creature. Its powerful body and striking appearance were a reminder of the Amazon's hidden wonders. Moments like these make it clear why this river is home to some of the most astonishing wildlife on Earth. With the catch captured on camera, there was no denying that the Amazon still holds surprises waiting to be discovered.
And away he goes.
Fish can fly. A video posted online captured a massive whale flicking its tail and launching a fish high into the sky. For a moment, the fish seemed to glide, as if it truly believed it could fly. The unexpected scene left viewers in disbelief as the fish stayed in the air much longer than anyone expected. Then, after what felt like forever, it finally plummeted straight back into the water. The whole thing looked so perfectly timed that some even joked the whale was putting on a show. Whether it was intentional or just an incredible moment caught on camera, it became one of the funniest fishing clips ever seen. People couldn't stop watching, amazed at nature's unexpected sense of humor. Pale mystery. A man walking by the river never expected to witness something so bizarre. Lying near the water's edge was a pale, elongated creature with tiny eyes, almost giving it an alien-like appearance. Curious, he pulled out his camera and captured the strange find. When the clip made its way online, it quickly gained over 1 million views, sparking endless debates. Some believed it was a rare salamander, while others argued it could be a soft-shelled turtle. Yet, even with all the guesses, no one could say for certain what it really was. The mystery surrounding the creature only grew, leaving viewers with more questions than answers. full force.
What's happening? Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone?
Two fishermen were out on the water when one of them felt an unusual pull in their nets. The rod bent sharply, and before he could react, he was pulled straight into the water. His friend watched as he struggled to hold on, but the fish was too strong. It moved with such force that even his full effort seemed weak in comparison. For a moment, it looked like the fisherman might not be able to keep up, but after a few tense moments, he managed to climb back onto the boat, drenched but laughing at the surprise.
Oh, crazy!
Seal interruption.
Seal.
A man stood by the clear waters, focused on his fishing line, waiting for a catch. Everything was calm until an unexpected visitor appeared. It was a seal. It emerged from nowhere. The fisherman froze, unsure of how to react. The seal looked around, moving playfully, as if inspecting the scene. For a moment, it seemed like it might stay longer, but just as suddenly as it arrived, it turned and rushed back into the water. The man blinked in surprise, realizing he had just shared his fishing spot with a creature he never expected to see. It was a brief but special moment that left him with a fishing story unlike any other. Bird dive. These men were calmly waiting on their boats, hoping for a good catch, when something unexpected happened. A flock of birds gathered above them, circling the water. Then, all at once, they plunged straight into the sea. The sudden dive left the fishermen in shock as the water rippled with movement. Moments later, the birds resurfaced. When the video was shared online, people were amazed to see nature's own fishing experts in action. These birds had perfected the skill, spotting fish from above and diving down with precision. It was a rare sight, proving that in the world of fishing, humans aren't the only ones with clever tricks. Hippo chase. A relaxing fishing trip quickly turned into a race against time when a massive shape emerged from the water. A giant hippo appeared, charging toward their boat with its mouth wide open. Without wasting a second, they fired up the engine, hoping it was fast enough to outrun the powerful creature. Water splashed wildly behind them as the hippo kept up, closing the distance with shocking speed. Hearts pounded as they pushed forward, only breathing a sigh of relief once they finally pulled away. Looking back, they couldn't believe how close they had been to danger. What started as a peaceful day had turned into an unforgettable escape. Fishing on boat.
Set the hook on this gar.
Fishing seems easy until moments like this prove otherwise. The lady was having a calm day on the water, patiently waiting for a bite. But when she finally felt a strong pull, she yanked the rod with a little too much force, sending herself straight into trouble. In an instant, the boat tipped, flipping over completely as she splashed into the water. What was supposed to be a simple catch turned into an unexpected dive. The fishing rod floated beside her, as if mocking the situation. Instead of catching a fish, she ended up catching a lesson. Sometimes, patience is better than power when it comes to fishing. Fishing rod fishing.
There's a fish on the fucking end. There's a fish on the...
Fishing usually brings in fish, but this catch was something else. A man cast his line, expecting to reel in a small fish, but as he pulled up his catch, he realized something unusual was hooked at the end. Instead of a fish, an old fishing rod emerged from the depths of the river. He stared in disbelief, wondering how long it had been down there. The tangled line and worn-out handle made it clear that someone had lost it long ago. It wasn't the prize he expected, but it was definitely a one-of-a-kind catch. With a laugh, he held up his unexpected find, turning an ordinary fishing trip into a moment he would never forget. Sea lion accidentally caught.
О, здоровый, жирненький какой!
The fishermen were struggling to pull in their net, convinced they had caught something huge. Their boat rocked as they worked together, expecting a record-breaking haul. But as they opened the net, they were met with a pair of wide eyes staring back. A massive sea lion was tangled among the fish. The men exchanged stunned looks before carefully working to free the unexpected guest. With a final push, they helped it back into the water, watching as it swam off without hesitation. The day didn't go as planned, but they left with a story unlike any other, one that had nothing to do with the fish they had set out to catch. Wrestle in water.
That was amazing. Look at the size of this.
Eagles are known for their sharp hunting skills, but this one found itself in a fight it wasn't prepared for. A fisherman spotted the bird flapping wildly on the water, tangled in the tight grip of a massive octopus. Instead of catching its prey, the eagle had become the one struggling to escape. The man knew he had to act fast. Using a stick, he carefully pulled them closer, making sure not to startle the octopus. With steady hands, he freed the bird from the creature's strong hold. As soon as it was loose, the eagle took off into the sky, leaving behind a scene that no one would have believed if it hadn't been caught on camera.
These are the biggest octopus in the world.
Look at this thing.
Bluefish.
Parrotfish caught it here, my buddy Dave. Munster's fishing in Alamorada.
The ocean is full of surprises, and this bright blue fish is proof of that. These fishermen were expecting an ordinary catch when they pulled up something truly unique, a blue parrotfish. Its vivid color, beak-like mouth, and shimmering scales made it look almost unreal. Parrotfish are important for coral reefs as they help maintain the ecosystem by eating algae. The fishermen couldn't believe their luck in seeing such a rare fish up close. They carefully examined its striking features, amazed by its unusual appearance. It was a catch they would always remember, something they had never seen before in all their fishing trips.
Like this in the ocean. Look at the colors in them. It's insane.
Rod captured. The man felt a sharp pull on his fishing line and thought he had hooked a rod submerged underwater. But as he reeled it in, he was in for a shock. It was actually a rod fish. This rare creature had a long, thin body that made it look just like a piece of fishing gear. He held it up, examining its strange yet fascinating shape. The fish's body was so sleek and straight that it could easily be mistaken for something man-made. It was a catch unlike any other, leaving him amazed at the oddities that lurked beneath the water. With this in his hands, he knew one thing for sure. Nature always finds a way to surprise even the most experienced fishermen. Bird thief. A quiet fishing trip took an unexpected turn. The man had just felt a strong pull on his rod, signaling a big catch. He gripped tightly, ready to reel it in, when suddenly a massive eagle swooped down from above. With lightning speed, it snatched the fish straight from the water, its sharp talons gripping the prize before the man could even react. Stunned, he watched as the bird soared away, carrying off what was supposed to be his catch. The rod was still in his hands, but the battle had already been lost. Shaking his head, he couldn't help but laugh. If there was ever a crime in fishing, this had to be illegal. Instant karma. Nobody expected this fishing trip to turn into a comedy scene. The man stood by the water, casting his line with precision, aiming for a giant catch. As the bait soared through the air, a huge fish suddenly jumped to grab it. But in an instant twist, the bait bounced off the fish's mouth and shot straight back, hitting the man right on the head. He stood there completely stunned, while the fish splashed away as if it had the last laugh. The onlookers burst into laughter, unable to believe what they had just witnessed. Instead of a big catch, he ended up with a story that would be told for years. Flying fish. A quiet day by the water turned surprising when a fish suddenly shot out of the sea, gliding above the surface. It moved through the air with ease, almost like a bird skimming over the waves. The man watching couldn't believe what he was seeing. This wasn't just any ordinary fish. It stayed airborne for a few moments before smoothly diving back into the water. That's when he recognized it. A flying fish. He had heard about them, but never expected to see one with his own eyes. The way it moved was unlike anything he had ever witnessed, turning an ordinary fishing moment into something truly remarkable. Turtle in help. A quiet fishing trip turned into an unexpected rescue when a man spotted something struggling in the water. Drifting near his boat was a tiny turtle, barely able to swim. As he looked closer, he saw that its shell was covered in barnacles, weighing it down. Without a second thought, he scooped up the little creature and carefully began removing each barnacle, making sure not to hurt it. After a few moments, the turtle was finally free. He gently placed it back into the water, watching as it swam away with new energy. What started as an ordinary day became a reminder that even the smallest actions can make a big difference. Helping tangled sawfish. While fishing in Australia's Northern Territory, a man was reeling in his line when something unexpected caught his eye. Just beneath the surface, a sawfish was struggling, tangled in a fishing line. Realizing the creature was in trouble, he quickly called for his guide. Together, they worked carefully, cutting through the tangled lines while making sure not to hurt the fish. After a few careful moments, the sawfish was finally free. Without hesitation, it glided back into the water, disappearing into the depths. The man watched as it swam away, feeling a quiet satisfaction in knowing he had helped the rare creature return safely to its home. Tickling stingray. A fisherman out on the water had an unexpected moment when he reeled in a baby stingray. What made it even more surprising was that the tiny creature appeared to be smiling. Amused by its expression, the man gently tickled the stingray, making the moment even more unusual. However, when the video surfaced online, it sparked a debate. Many viewers warned that stingrays, even small ones, can be risky to handle due to their stingers. Others pointed out that the man's gloves likely kept him safe. In the end, it was a rare and fascinating encounter, one that left people both amazed and cautious about interacting with these creatures. Cannibal pikes. A man sat quietly by the riverbank, enjoying the peaceful view, when sudden ripples caught his eye. Curious, he leaned in for a closer look and was stunned to see two fish locked in a fierce struggle. One pike had its jaws clamped tightly around the other's head, refusing to let go. Realizing the danger, the man quickly reached into the water and carefully pulled them apart. The moment he released them, the fish darted away in opposite directions, ending their unexpected battle. It was a rare sight, something he never expected to witness while simply sitting by the river. Sleepy fisherman. The fisherman sat perfectly still, his rod resting in his hands as he drifted into a deep sleep. Time passed, but nothing happened. No tugs, no splashes, not even the slightest ripple in the water. His bait dangled untouched, yet he remained in position like a statue, as if locked in the most patient fishing battle ever. Anyone passing by might have thought he was deep in concentration, waiting for the perfect catch. But in reality, he was lost in the best nap of his life. The funniest part? His rod hadn't moved an inch, and yet he was still fishing. No fish, no action, just a man proving that sometimes fishing is more about relaxation than the catch. Dolphin rescues phone.
Oh my god!
A group of friends were out on a boating trip when one of them accidentally dropped her phone into the water. She could only watch as it disappeared beneath the surface, thinking it was lost forever. But then, something unexpected happened. A dolphin suddenly emerged from the water, holding the phone in its mouth. The group couldn't believe their eyes as the intelligent creature gently returned the phone to the woman. It was as if the dolphin understood exactly what had happened, and just when they thought the moment couldn't get any better, the dolphin playfully gave the woman a little nudge before swimming away. The entire scene was caught on camera, leaving everyone amazed at how this incredible rescue unfolded right in front of them.
Don't bring your phone to a dolphin encounter.
And now, let's move on to the subscriber's pick.
Yes.
Jeremy, a well-known YouTuber, set out on a fishing trip, expecting a good catch. But as soon as he cast his line, he felt an intense pull. His rod bent sharply, and no matter how much strength he used, the fish refused to come up easily. After a long struggle, he finally caught a glimpse of his catch, and it left him speechless. The fish was massive, even bigger than him. As he pulled it closer, the sheer size of the creature amazed everyone watching. It was a moment that proved why fishing can be full of surprises, and luckily, the entire scene was captured on camera for the world to see. And with that, see you next time.
Right, it's gotta be out.